Right, and I think we are finally live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Apologies for being a little bit late. We're busy wrapping up the last game. I hate it when they do this to me. And you've got a 4 o'clock game and a 6:15 game, and you've got to try and finish the live watch along, get a review out, then try and start this next one. But we are live. The kickoff has not started yet, so we've still got a little bit of time. We'll go through the teams and stuff like that in a moment. But for now, let me just sort of settle in and get everything sorted, make sure we don't miss kickoff and stuff like that. It is the Stormers versus the Bulls in Cape Town. Abner van Renen with the ball. He will start the game off, and then we'll sort of settle in. It's all a bit rushed, but yeah, we'll try and get settled in eventually. Right, and we've got kickoff there. So Abner van Renen goes deep. And it's a good take there by the Bulls. And so solid kick chase there from Stormers. We're going to go through the teams in a bit of a moment and sort of talk about how the fact that the Stormers are trying to deal with a bit of an injury crisis. But at the moment, Ambrose Pierre, he's got the set of 22, kicks it up. Not looking for touch, and the Stormers have won it after. So it's a nice chase there from the Stormers. It's quite a hectic start here. I mean, this nice contestable kick from the Stormers early. Now they're looking to run the ball. And it receives into the side today. In place of Ruan now, who's joined up with the blitz box. There are 9 changes to the Stormers, so expect a very different performance than last week. Leon Zas has got some space out wide. He's brought down Madosh Tamboy, I thought was very good last weekend, actually. This is actually very good from the Stormers early. Nice go for a ball. Bongi Manambi, one of the 9 changes. He carries it up. Now Damien Villeneuve with some space out wide. Virgil Peterson, inside ball to Dan Duplessis. He squares up Ambrose Pierre, but loses his footing, so Ambrose Pierre manages to hold on to him. And P-Steph Detroit now carries it up. I'll tell you what, the Stormers, Abner van Renen spots a bit of space. Bongi Manambi in support. Bulls under all sorts of pressure early on. Hits off now, carries it up. He's always going to make some meters. I'll look low over the ball. And I think it was Bongi Manambi's been penalized for going down. So we can breathe a huge, well, I can breathe a huge sigh of relief. So what a first two minutes from the Stormers. Lots full of running. Made some good carries there. Looked quite nice and direct. But let's settle into the game. Hello, so we've already got a captain's challenge here. Stephen Kitsov is challenging. Because, you know, why can't I just settle in and get myself sorted without all the drama? We've now got a captain's challenge. Stephen Kitsov reckons there's a high tackle that hasn't been picked up, so they're going to have a look. In the meantime, get your score predictions down in the comments. I'm going to cheat a bit with my teams. Right, so while we look at the change and stuff like that, let's have a look at the 2 teams. So these are Stormers 15, 9 changes from last week. So Stephen Kitsov continues to captain the side. Bongi Manambi comes into the side as one of the 9 changes, and Frans Malherbe keeps his spot. In the middle, David Mehezen will now partner Marvin Ory. And after J.D. Schicklin suffered an injury, one of the many suffered by Stormers. And then Marcel Tennyson comes in for Namaklaba, who's been ruled out of the entire tournament. Horrible for him. He was brilliant last weekend and just never seems to be able to stay fit. PC Totoya keeps his place, but Evan Ruiz comes in for Willie Engelbrecht, who's on the bench. His red card was rescinded after a second yellow was overturned by a disciplinary, but I think he's been dropped for poor discipline. And then Gardner Masimla and Abner van Rieenen come in for the injured Herschel Yankees and Cade Voliter. Two new wings, Leon Zas and Shergel Peterson in for Sibele Sanatla and Edwin van der Merwe, who's on the bench. And then Rick Sartorius has a new partner in midfield in Dan du Plessis. As we said earlier, Ruan Now's gone and joined the blitz box. Damien Willemse starts at full back. On the bench, Scour into Benny, Leon Lyons in for Ali Vermaak, Neeling Verscheer as well. Ernst van Rijn, Willie Engelbrecht cover the rest of the scrum. Paul de Wet, Cornel Smit, and Edwin van der Merwe are the backline replacements. For the Bulls, there's your team over there. And it looks like Steven Kitshoff has won his captain's challenge. There is a high tackle, so they'll go back for a penalty. So part of the new laws being implemented here. But very quickly, the Bulls 15, Gerard Steenkamp, Johan Kovalaar, Morne Smith, that is unchanged. While Steenkamp is a new into the lineup with Ruan Nokia. Mark Verstappen and Albert Lowe keep their places, but Dwayne Vermeulen comes in for Nizam Kar, who drops to the bench. In Bruce Pierre, Morne Steyn in for Chris Smith. Sharina Jacobs and Modosh Tamwe keep their place, as do Cornel Hendricks and Marco Jansen van Vuren. James Verity-Am makes way for David Creel. On the bench, Joey van Zyl, Liesel Oboka, Jacques van Nooyen, Janko Swanepoel, Nizam Kar, Zach Berger, Chris Smith, and James Verity-Am. So that's how the two sides are lining up. The captain's challenge there from Steven Kitshoff being successful, which first of all means that he keeps it, and second of all means that a penalty that was for the Sharks, for the Bulls, will now be for the Stormers, and Abner van Rieenen is lining up his first kick of the day, which sails wide. How did he miss that? That's almost impressive. So it was a great challenge by Steven Kitshoff, but Abner van Rieenen has made a hash of that. That goes off to the side, and the Bulls survive the captain's challenge. So the restart there, well taken from Damien Willemse. So he turned 23 yesterday, actually. Scary to see how young he still is, despite being so accomplished in terms of, Springbok caps. Well, a senior player already at the Stormers. A very good line there from Bongi Manamu, who gets the pop pass as well. Rick Pretorius now. Right, 2 Yorks Gaming says Stormers by 6. It's a big call. They have started very nicely. But I think that the Bulls side is very strong. So I would say I would call it an upset. If the Stormers won, I'd call it an upset. 9 changes to the starting lineup. And apart from like Bongi and Manambi, they're not changes that they would have wanted to make. Willemse trying to go for I think it was supposed to be quite a long grabber, but completely miskicking it. And David Creel puts on the banana kick, which stays in field. So Willemse's back. And he now kicks back to the Bulls, lining just for 22. Madosh Tumwe is nice and safe under the high ball. Now Morne Steyn puts it up and says, Madosh, you go for a run, chap. Madosh is doing just that. And that's bounce. How can you let that bounce? That's a fantastic result from the Bulls. But Damien Willemse, and I think it's Adam van Rieenen, and the ball just bounced in between them. So not great communication between the two Stormers players there. Who do you think's going to win? I'm backing the Bulls. I think the Bulls by 10 or 15, just because I think the Stormers are just so depleted. 9 changes to the starting lineup. So many. J.D. Schicklin, injured. Naman Klaba, out for the season. Cade Voliter, out for the season. Herschel Yankees, injured. Ruan Nal with the blitzbox. Sanatli, suspended for 4 weeks. Edwin van der Merwe was dropped. So it's not great reading. Bongi Manami back on the side. That's a big boost. But I do think that the Bulls have got a much better 23 and have been playing very consistent rugby. So if the Stormers want to do something, they're going to need their stars to stand up. Damien Willemse is going to have a great game. PCF the Toy is going to have to be huge. Bongi Manami's going to have to be big. That front row is going to have to try and do something at scrum time. Rix Pretorius is going to have to be. That's a very good tackle from P-Steph to Toy. So that's why I'm going with the Bulls. Let me know what you think. Dane kicks ahead there. Abner van Reenen. Now that's an early mistake. Now you see, this is what allows the balls into the side. Abner van Reenen, implicate Volator, trying to return the kick to Moyne Stan. He's kicked it straight out, which has gifted the Bulls a line out just outside the Stormers 22. Well, Stern wins the line out. Cornel Hendricks gets his first run. It's decent for him. It wasn't a great ball. Some big carries here from the Bulls. This is what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and bully the Stormers. Same with a quick pass, but I think it was Ruan Okia. I didn't read it, but it came off the arm. Wasn't a knock on. So the Bulls still have momentum, but now a pass behind is... Now, Krabilov, very intelligent there, not playing the ball because he wasn't offside position, so didn't play the ball, so he didn't concede a penalty, but the Stormers have turned the ball over and gone down into the Stormers 22 with a good kick. David Creel, however, he's got some space and he finds touch. So a bit sloppy there from the Bulls. I mean, good pressure from the Stormers, but I think the Bulls just a little bit unstructured. And good job. And there's a decent line of win from Ruan Nokia, but the Bulls, I think, just a bit like a sort of deer in headlights. They just haven't quite pitched up yet. So the Stormers need to take advantage of this because they've definitely been the better side in this opening 8 minutes. I mean, he said that now Bongi Manambi misses P-Steph the toy. And I think there's a knock-on at the back. So I think we're going to have our first scrum. After saying that the Stormers were doing everything right, they proved me wrong, as all these teams love to do, apparently. And scrum time. Now, this is a opportunity for the Stormers. This is where they need to try and do something. They should be 3-0 up ahead. I don't know how Abner Farina managed to miss that kick. Really was not great from the young fly half. He's under a lot of pressure. No Kate Bollitter. Tim Sweel was supposed to be fit, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. Whether he is fit and it's tactical not to play him. But, I mean, the Stormers, we know the Stormers are struggling with the number 10 position as it is. So they're backing Abner van Reenen, but he hasn't started well at all. That's a huge scrum from the Bulls. And they've played, Godlin Masimla has played Mbroso Pierre. First penalty to the Bulls, first blood. That's a big scrum. Off Springbok front row, but I think as the Bulls' pack is very heavy. So that's a big moment, and that's where I think the Bulls are going to win. I think that their set piece is too good for the Stormers. So yeah, I think it was an advantage already from the scrum, and then got him a similar in offside position, playing in Bruce Pierre, forcing the penalty there. So the Bulls, another opportunity, similar position to where they were last time. About 5 meters out from the 22. Another good line-on win there. Deciding not to set the more. Markov and Starden now goes through the middle. He runs into P-Steph the Toy. I wouldn't want to run into P-Steph the Toy. He's now trying to... Mate, you're going to push, you're going to provoke him. I mean, come now. Bulls have got an advantage, I think, for offside there. And another advantage now. They're now going Cornel Hendricks, who puts looping pass over the top. David Creel's got Badosh Tumbo outside him, but the grabber 3 comes off. David Vincent goes after touch. So we'll go back for the penalty. I think they feel quite wet underfoot. I think quite a bit of rain in the in Cape Town throughout the day, so I don't think it's very dry. Big decision to make for the Bulls here. It's a very kickable position for them. 11 minutes has gone on the clock. So will they go for the 3 points, or are they going to try and go for the line out and set up maybe a more? Evan Lewis, the man who was penalized. And the Bulls say, thank you very much. We're going to take the 3 points here. Mornestein is not Abner van Renen, so I don't think there will be any issues with the kick here. Yeah, I mean, terrible kick for Abner van Renen. About 6-7 meters right of the post, but not particularly far out, and just completely missed it. So Mornestein, we know how good of a goal kicker he is. I don't think he'll have too many issues with this. Mornestein strikes it well. You know what? He's just missed it. After saying that he's not going to miss it, and he's not an Abner van Renen, he's just missed it. That's very, very strange. Very uncharacteristic for Mornestein. It wasn't the most difficult chance. About 50 meters in from the touchline. Not particularly far either, and he's just pulled it to the left. So, yeah, I mean, it should be 3-3, but it remains 0-0. Stormers go deep. Mornestein now shaping up for a very big up and under. Ruan Okia's a little low. That's there. It's well taken by Damien Brinster, but he's met hard in the tackle. Kitsov now steps outside, Dwayne Vermeulen. Bit of feet there. Van Renen spots a bit of space around the back. But it's once again too far. Abner van Renen in the spotlight. Young fly half. In for Kate Volta. And that's the second time he's kicked the ball into touch. For somebody who needs a good start and a lot of confidence, he hasn't gotten that at all. Not sure there's different dimensions in this field for them here in Newlands, but that one was at least close to bouncing in goal, but the previous one was terrible. So Abner van Renen, in the space of 30 minutes, has kicked 2 balls into touch and missed a very simple penalty. So that's not the start that they would have wanted from the Stormers fly half, but long way to go, and the Bulls have lost that line out. No, Kobelo's managed to bounce back on it, but then he loses it forward. Very uncharacteristic from the Bulls here. They don't often lose lineouts. The biggest problem with me having to rush here is I didn't actually get time to grab a beer, which is criminal because it is 6:30 on a Saturday night, and watching rugby without an alcoholic beverage is pretty poor on my behalf. And a penalty now for the Stormers. So, 2 scrums and a penalty apiece. So, this is going to be quite an interesting battle, I think, actually, the front row battle. We've had 2 penalties, 1 each. Very big scrum here from the Stormers. I mean, it looked like both of them went down. So, it looks a little bit harsh on the Bulls. But, yeah, Steven Kitsov winning that penalty there. So the Stormers are now into the Bulls' half. They need to be more clinical. I think that's been the sort of the story of the day. A lot of opportunity, but not enough teams taking the opportunities they do get. Going wide to the Stormers, but don't make any meters there. Cyril Peterson caught up with the ball. They're on the 10-meter line inside the Bulls' half. Francois Herbert now carries it up. And another penalty for the Stormers. Gardner Massimo takes it quickly. Vermeulen brings him down, and they've lost the ball forward. So maybe not the best option there for Massimla. Having said that, the Bulls have just thrown it. Oh my goodness. Well, after lots of drops and stuff like that, the Bulls have got possession now. Madosh Tamwe's got space out wide. He's got the pace. He steps inside Van Reenen, inside Damien Willemse. Madosh Tumwe is going to go all the way. No tackling there whatsoever. And Madosh Tumwe gets the first points on the board. Too fast, too good. Damien Willemse, Abner Van Reenen caught wanting there. And the Bulls winger, who's been brilliant since coming across the Yerkesgate, well, coming from Durban, but previously from across the Yerkesgate, has punished Stormers there, but really poor at defending this. Going out wide, Cornel Hendricks delaying the pass nicely, giving Madosh Tumwe some space to run him, but he had lots to do. Inside one, inside two, can't touch them. Willemse takes out Ernst van Rijn, Evan Roos just for some good measure. And the Bulls are ahead early. I suppose I wouldn't be sad that early. Feels early. It's all been very rushed. Yep, Morningstain pops it over, and 0-7 is the score after 17 in the 17th minute. Good handling there from Hendricks. It was a horrible pass above him. Yeah, I think pretty poor from Damien Willemse. I think, and from Abner van Reenen. Both opportunities to tackle, and you got to try and do something. You can't just throw an arm out. Now, good retake. Morningstain will find touch. And he does right towards the halfway line. Fantastic exit play. This is what I talk about with the Bulls, that they're just such a disciplined side. They'll do the basics very well. And that's why I back them, because I think that, look, I mean, you can always go both ways. When you've got a side who's so disciplined and they do the small things well, it just gives you such a boost. Stormers winning the line out. Evan Roos now making a decent carry. They're inside the Bulls' half. They go ahead. It's a very good take there from Shabino Jacobs. Ooh, some very nice hands there. Feeling up, dabs it on the floor. Has he got the pace? He does, but the ball runs out. So it will be a Stormers line out. Damien Willemse has apparently stayed down from a clean out off the ruck. Okay, time is off while Damien Willemse gets some treatment. This is literally the last thing the Stormers needed. The only two players who kept their spots in the starting lineup in the back line are Rick Pretorius and Damien Willemse. And if he goes off, then we're talking about pretty much a whole new front back line. I'll say, I think for all SSRs taking more chances should be concerned. Bulls by 7. Yeah, I think it's just, and I suppose that's kind of a lot to do with the fact that they haven't played a particularly high standard of rugby. You know, when you're playing against sides like Humans, Greeks, and stuff like that. Not to say they're not good at anything, but it's very different to playing against, you know, players with international quality. And I think that the more you play against teams that have got international players that have got those sort of standard, you know, the better you get. And these teams haven't really been tested that much. So I think that's where the accuracy is lacking a little bit. So Stormers have gone straight over the line up there. It's another line out lost from Bongi Manambi. Jan Krobela breaks through. Rowan Okia's following up. Piece after Toy gets back, but the Bulls are well inside the Stormers 22. Morningstain dabs across. Oh my gosh, Tumwe! He's dropped it. He's dropped it. You've just dropped, well, he hasn't quite dropped the game. I mean, we're sitting in 19 minutes, but I mean, butterfingers, mate. How have you dropped that? Nobody in front of him. And he's dropped that. It's like more than walk on the boundary. I mean, how do you drop that? In the right position. No issue. Straight to Omar and just closes his arms too early. That is terrible. By Madosh Tumwe. He should have a brace by now. Big let off there for the Stormers. So much space out wide from Morningstain to try and dab it through there. So, big warning signs. But, yeah, that is appalling by Madosh Tumwe. Another big scrum there from the Stormers. And they've won another penalty. As what I've said, this front row is going to be getting the Stormers out of a lot of jail because that's it. Another penalty won there. The Farina now asked to go and find some touch. Which he does. That's actually a very good touch finally. He finds touch in the Bulls' half. Right, so 7-0 to the Bulls is the score currently. It should be at least 12-0 after that horrific drop from Adosh Tambwe. Like these players just don't want to score at the moment. We saw it with the Lions and the Sharks as well. Players just not taking opportunities. Teams not taking the chances to score points. But more here, which is kind of, the penalty back for the Stormers. The more was just breaking apart there. Please do smash a like. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from, who you're backing, what your team is, and what you think of the game. Let's try and see if we can get up to 10 likes by half time. So 2 down, 8 more to go. We hit 1,300 subscribers earlier in our watch along, so let's see if we can get up to 13 and maybe 1310. So please subscribe if you are new. Well, it's a messy line-out win from the Stormers, but it is a win. Strong carry there from Kitsov. Stormers making some nice ground up here. They're up to almost the 5 meters, but I think they've dropped it ahead there. Once again, another chance going at begging. Teams just not being clinical enough. Oh, this doesn't look good. This is Godlin Masimla who's down. Clutching his right shoulder, I think it is. I think Marvin Ori just dropping the ball here as he goes into the collision here. So the new acquisition for Stormers is being guilty of not looking after the ball. But this doesn't look good for Godlin Masimla. We've already seen it's Marvin Ori that's down. Looks like he's in a lot of pain here. And given the fact that they've already lost Salman Murat for the competition, now Jay Schickeling, losing Marvin Ori it can't get much worse for the Stormers. How Adosh Tambwe managed to butcher that second opportunity, I still do not know. It's literally no issues there. Just closes his fingers, hits the end, then goes down. Really poor. Well, let's do a little bit of stat attack while we can. In the first, Marvin Ori's up. We got a scrum cap off though. So I think he has to go for an HIA. So he disappears down the tunnel. So Ernst van Rijn is on in place of him. But yeah, in the first 22 minutes, 56 possession for the Stormers, 44% for the Bulls. Stormers have beaten 7 defenders. The Bulls have beaten 6. 1 clean break from the Bulls there. In the defense-wise, there have already been 5 tackles missed for each team. Stormers have made 29 tackles, where the Bulls have made 52. So if Ori can't continue, that is the 3rd lock that they have lost to injury. So the Stormers just crumbling here at the moment. They're really struggling with their squad. So many injuries, and I'll tell you, at this stage they're going to be playing their 4th team by the end of the Rainbow Cup. And another penalty from the scrum from the Stormers. They are having an absolute field day. If the Bulls can't sort this out, this is going to be how Stormers will come back into the game. And to be honest, I think this is where the Stormers should take some points. They don't. Abner van Renen goes to the line, so they're going to try and set up a line out. Steenkamp was sort of wheeling around the air there and apparently scrumming in as well. Right, they win the line out. Here comes the maul. Here comes the maul. Ernst van Rijn, his first contribution is to win the line out. Bongi Manambi has got the ball at the back. He's in charge. Got him assembly there because they have to use it. It's been repelled. Bongi Manambi goes himself. He got some support to the clean ball here. The Simla avoids a... Oh, hello, he's over! And he's over! Okay, so they reckon he could be hiding the tackle here. So, Stuart Bear has not rewarded anything yet, but... Evan Lewis has gone over here. They're having a look, so they reckon he might have been stolen and held on the tackle. He did kind of just seem to sort of pop up and go over. So, interesting to see what happens here, but the Stormers could have hit back. Okay, so he goes around here. The tackle comes from Cornel Hendricks. He goes down. Madosh Tumwe's there as well. But he's not held. Glenn Vermeulen has taken out Madosh Tumwe. He was going to be the assistant tackler, but he's not held at all. So I think this trial's going to stand. Nope, not clear. Obviously, it was held. It made it very clear. Obviously, he wasn't held. So the Stormers hit back through Evan Ruiz, 5-7 in the 25th minute. Now, Abner van Renen. Oh, he does get it over. Well done to you, sir. The Stormers hit back. And it's 7-7. I mean, a bad tackle by Janssen van Vuren. Cornel Hendricks makes the tackle. And unfortunately, Dwayne Vermeulen just completely taking out Madosh Tumwe as it's coming across. And then, yeah, he wasn't held, so he just jumped up and went over. So very good awareness there from Evan Ruiz. And it's 7 apiece in the 25th minute, which is quite fair. I think both sides look Bulls should have been 2 tries up because Madosh Tumwe butchered that opportunity. But the Stormers have actually been very full of running early on and made some decent ground, and that scrum is going to be a huge part of their play. Once again, Stormers looking to run. They left their shape to the 22. Now Masimlin's going to shave up to kick. He does go up. Big tester here for Dwayne Vermeulen. You know he's not going to drop that. 3 players needed to take him down. That's some front foot ball here for the Bulls. Morne Steyn goes to Marco Janssen van Vuren. He sees some space out wide. Madosh Tumwe avoids one. Eventually gets brought down. Embrace for Pierre now. A strong carry there from Steenkamp. Sorry, Morne Smith. Now Abner van Renen returns the kick after Embrace Pierre dabbed it head. There's no Bulls players back, so they are forced back. A lot of backtracking here. Pierre goes to Morne Steyn, who shapes the kick but doesn't, and now he sees some space. P-Steph Totoy is there and tackles him, so the Stormers players can come and find him. He's completely isolated, and they've won the penalty. Morne Steyn probably should have kicked it. I think caught on the ball there. Had the chance to clear it, decided not to, under a lot of pressure, and a brilliant tackle from P-Steph Totoy. Nobody gets away from that man. And all the Stormers players come piling in. They win a penalty. They're inside the Bulls 22, and Abner van Renen is going to say, thank you very much. I'm right in front of Poles. I'll take those 3 points. Let's get ourselves ahead. And it was all stemming from the very good kick from Abner van Renen, so it's exactly what he needs. I don't know why Morne Steyn didn't kick that. He had all the time in the world. Had a decent sort of is a decent position, well positioned there. Not too much pressure on him, deciding not to kick, and then ran straight into trouble. So a rare mistake from the veteran, and they've paid the price because the Stormers go up to 10-7 ahead in 27 minutes. Want to stay now, going nice and deep. Down to C feels it and kicks it. That's been sliced off his boot, I think, though. So that's gone out just by the 22. Not a great clearance from the outside centre there. Into the side for Ruan Null, who will not be available from the Stormers, I understand, for the rest of the competition. He has gotten linked up with the Blitz box ahead of their Olympic preparations. Same as Steban Khans, who's currently recovering from his injury with the Blitz box as well. Right, well, the Bulls have made a hash of that lineup, and the Stormers have won possession. They are back in the 22, but they've got possession back. Right, so the Stormers kick deep now. Shavina Jacobs gets a rare chance to run. He runs straight into Master Tiernes, and it's a good tackle there from the lock. Stormers very quick off their line in the defense. So Bulls struggling to find space in the game line. Morne staying goes to Cornel Hendricks, who's well caught up by Peace Left the Toy. He's been everywhere so far. Ruan Nokia now carries it up, not finding any meters though. Very good defensive performance so far from the Stormers. Very physical. Morne staying now goes to the boot and goes up. It's quite fast, so it's a contestable kick, but Avan Van Renen does well. Ulrich Lowe's there to try and wrap him up, but the support comes and does help out Van Renen in the end. So the Stormers keep possession. They're on the 10-meter line inside their own half. Once more, Herben now carries it up. Massimla now goes to the boot. He puts it ahead. Quite fast, so it's uncontested from David Creel, who runs around Sergio Peterson, brushes off one tackle, eventually gets brought down. And Mornestein once again to the boot. This time he's trying to find some territory. He's turned Damien Willemse. And it's not going to go over the dead wall line, so Willemse is going to have to try and return the kick. He does. Not going to find touch. David Creel with a decision to make. He's about the halfway line. He sees some space in behind there. He's kicked right in between the two Stormers players, but the bounce of the ball does favour them. So Adnan van Renen now returns. It stays in play for Dwayne Vermeulen. And Van Renen takes the ball. So at the moment, it's just a blooming ping pong battle. Well, Van Renen eventually takes the ball into contact, and I think, yeah, we're going to see the Stormers running around a little bit. Willemse spots a gap. Very well tackled by Markov and Staden. Pop from Marcel Tiernes. It's all a little bit messy at the moment. Markov and Staden's over that. They've got an advantage. And he's got the ball. He's got the ball. Markov and Staden has turned the ball over very well there for the Bulls. Imbosa Pierre now sniping. Throws a very big ball at the top. Bounces ahead of Madosh Tambwe. He kicks and chases. The ball bounces back. Cornel Hendricks is there, so the Bulls have found themselves inside the Stormers' half. Advantage over. Ruan Nokia. Nice and direct. Well, it's very high tempo at the moment. David Creel that takes it into the contact. Waiting for Vermeulen, almost through, looking for the offload, can't quite get up. Markov and Staden now. Bulls almost up to the 22. Mornestein goes out wide. Cornel Hendricks measures up to Dan Duplessis, then brings in Madosh Tambwe. He steps inside. Eventually brought down. Oh, that's very poor. Mornestein cleans up after a bit of a loose pass there from the Bulls. Quite a few phases here from the Bulls here, but struggling to try to find sort of any sort of momentum and get in some territory. And now the Stormers have actually turned that over. Massimla now will kick ahead. There's nobody back. The Bulls have to backtrack. David Creel's gone back. He's managed to find that. Reno Jacobs is his partner on the left foot. He finds touch. about 10 meters outside 22. So we can also sigh or take a deep breath. Some fantastic continuity there from the Bulls, but a very well weighted and then well exact turnover from the Stormers, who are staying in this clash. I mean, they're 10-7 up. Lots of injuries, lots of changes, but they're playing really well actually in the first opening 31 minutes. And I think the Bulls just need to keep things a little bit simpler here. Ambrosia Pierre finds the space down the side there, but he does get brought down by his opposite number 9. Nice tackle there on Masimla, who stayed down actually. It was a good tackle on Ambrosia Pierre, who was tearing down the flank. A good tackle on Masimla, who's squaring up to Ambrosia Pierre. We've got time off here. For the first time in a while, actually, quite nice. We've had quite a nice continuous game. We haven't had any sort of timeouts or anything like that. So we've had quite a lot of time with the ball in play. After quite a few scrums, that also seems to slow down. Lineouts have been very messy for the Stormers, which is surprising because Bongi Banambi is always a player who's very reliable at lineout time. But it hasn't been great for the Stormers. They're going to need to try and improve that. And Masimla here getting his finger popped back into place from the looks of it. Yeah, and time back on. We're going to restart with a Stormers line out just on the edge side of the halfway line. Once again, it's been disrupted. The Stormers line out. I'm actually going to try and see if I can find the stats. Their line has been atrocious so far. Peter Toy goes up, but Roanoke here once again causing a lot of havoc with that line out. Right, so the stats are saying 2 lineouts lost by Stormers, but I can tell you right now it's more than that. So another scrum here, which is the aspect that the Stormers really haven't dominated. I think they've got about 3 scrum penalties from the scrum so far. So struggling at line-out time, but absolutely fine when it comes to the scrums. And then have a reset here. Looks like France will Herbert went around quite quickly. We're going to have a reset. Move across because the ground is breaking up from underneath them. Apparently quite wet underfoot. A bit of rain in Cape Town. Right, another reset scrum here. Looks better from the Bulls, but once again, Kitsov is dominating on his side. They've got another advantage, and they've got another scrum. So for every line-out that they are losing, the Stormers are winning a scrum penalty. And as long as that continues, they're going to continue dominating this game, I think. That Bulls front row under serious pressure. I don't think it's going to be very long after half-time before we see Jacques Van Rooyen and Lizo Toboka, because this Bulls scrum is under serious pressure. Adnan van Renen finds touch about 10 minutes before the 22. So it's a good extra play from the Stormers, and the scrum cannot do anything wrong at the moment. That's it. Please do smash like on the video. We're 5 minutes away from half time. Let's try and see if we can get up to 10 likes before we can. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's try and see if we can get the subscribers up to 1,310 before the end of the game. A line-out win there for the Stormers. That's nice and rare, and some good go forward board. Evan Lewis carries it up. Gets off now. 4 minutes to go. Be a very good time for the Stormers to try and score. Damon Villas tries to kick ahead, but it comes off Krobelaar. He's tearing after it himself, but it will run into touch. So, yeah, but I'm not sure the option was really on for Damien Willems. I mean, they weren't getting much momentum, but going to the boot there, coming off Krobelaar, and as a result, they've been pinned back to a line-out in their own half. Okay, so it's time off. Dwayne Vermeulen's having a captain's challenge here. Okay, so Dwayne Vermeulen is asking to have a look here. They reckon that it's a leading with the Albert run onto Mornestein. It's from Kitsoff. Yeah, I think he's going to be in trouble here. He's led like this. You have to lead with a flat hand. That's the ruling. And you can see Albert over here connecting with Mornestein sort of neck area. It's not great, and I think he's going to lose a penalty here. Okay, so it looks like a yellow card for Stephen Kitsoff. They're saying that it wasn't a lot of force behind it, otherwise it would have been worse than a yellow, but he was leading with the elbow, so it does look like we're going to have a yellow card here. So it's a very good captain's call here from Dwayne Vermeulen. Okay, so Kitsoff goes to the bin. Now that's going to wreck a lot of things because that scrum has been all Kitsoff at the moment. So at the next scrum, they're going to have to bring on another prop there. No complaints there from Kitsoff. He knows you can't lead with the elbow. When you do, that's when you start going into the bin. Player welfare is such a big part of the game at the moment. So yeah, it's you can't really argue much about that. So Mornestein will try and find touch, and he does. Yeah, he does. But I say it almost looked like Leon Zust did very well to keep the ball in play. But I think he was either standing out or wasn't in the field play when he went up there. So a big period for the Bulls. They've got 3 minutes and a couple of minutes after half time with no Stephen Kitsoff, which will be big because the lineouts have been a very big problem for I mean, not the lineouts, the scrums have been a very big problem for the Bulls, with Kitsoff and Malherbe completely dominating them. So with Kitsoff in the bin, this is the chance now for the Bulls to try and start dominating. The lineout has worked and works again. Dwayne Vermeulen at the back. It has gone down though, but they still burst through the middle, and the ball is available. So there's apparently a legal sack from Stormers. Albert Lowe now carries it up. He runs into PCF the toy. Markham and Starr now into the 22 are the Bulls. So nice continuity from the Bulls. Going through the phases, they just need to keep composed here. Cornel Hendricks trying to get that ball at the top. Eventually decides to go himself. He's still going. He's still going. He makes the meters now. Yeah, big penalty there. Markham Verstappen was trying to get the ball there, ran in front of Ronald Krobelaar, who was the ball carrier, running straight into Mongi Mbonambi, who was not happy with that or complained straight away, and the penalty does go Stormers' way. So another chance begging for the Bulls, who just can't really convert their chances into points, and that's why they're trailing 10 points to 3. And I was losing my patience at the Lions earlier, because when you go down to 14 men, you've got to make these opportunities count. Yeah, I mean, it would have been fine if Markham Starden had picked up the ball, but Krobelaar decides to take it on himself, and then Markham Verstappen was ahead of him, so he ran into the defending players. So it was obstruction. No complaints there. Stormers very slow to the line out, as you'd imagine, trying to run down some time, while Kitsov sits his time in the bin. Okay, it's a 4-man line out here for the Sharks. I mean, for the Sharks, for the Stormers on the halfway line. Well, it's another messy lineup, but they do manage to keep it. P-Step's toy eventually takes into contact. And now it's Dwayne Vermeulen trying to get some hands in there and try and turn over, but I think he's unsuccessful. Masimla goes up. It looks like it's too far, though, so Madosh Tamwe calls it. He didn't call the mark, so he goes himself. He's run off 1, he's run off 2. He's got the offload away. Marco Verstappen now. Hands off Ricketts Victorious. He's still going. And Bulls are all the way up to their 10-meter. Ambrose Pierre, quick ball. Dane decides to go himself, cuts inside. Probably wasn't the right option, but Ambrose Pierre makes sure they keep possession. No scrum off, so Albert Lowe picks and goes. Ambrose Pierre now shaping up for the box kick, which he then executes. It hasn't gone particularly fast, so it's a very contestable for Strivino Jacobs, but it's well taken from Abner van Rienen. And ball is available there for the Stormers. But apparently a knock-on in the collision. So 5 seconds left, so we're pretty much into half time here. The hooter is about to go. And there it goes. So it's a good take by Strivino Jacobs, but then as he goes into the challenge, loses the ball forward. So now Marcel Tennyson's off for Leon Lyons, obviously because they need to get a prop in with Steven Kitsov having a yellow card. So Leon Lyons will now get a scrum just for half time. And I think the Stormers will probably kick us into touch. I don't think they're going to be looking after too many more points. I think they will be quite happy with their 3-point lead, especially with the penalty from Abner van Rienen, a couple of mistakes. Lineouts haven't been great from the Stormers. Scrums have been very good though. So yeah, I don't think they'll want to spend too much time in this half. They'll take the 3-point advantage and they'll go into the shed, have some oranges, and they'll come and give it a go in the second half. Massive scrum there from the Bulls, as you'd imagine. And the Bulls are keeping it alive. They go to Tom Ware. It's a fantastic wraparound there from Marco Janssen from Fury. We need some support. So the Bulls managing to get a bit of a tight head there. Win possession back. Now they're in the Stormers half. Now they're looking to hit back. Cornel Hendricks loses his footing as he tries to straighten though. Ambrose Pierre continues to go down the left flank. P-Steps Toy rushes up. But it's a good run there from Krobola. Can't get the ball away though. Needs some support. He gets it. Mornay Smith now takes the ball into collision. Albert Lowe wasn't expecting the ball, but another slip there. I think it is quite field. A lot of the players are slipping at the moment, but the Bulls looking to try and get some points out of this. Oh, that's a terrible pass. Jacobs cleans up. He manages to keep possession. Now Mornay Smith fills in at scrum half. They decide not to, so David Creel comes in to try and help out. Albert Lowe runs into Leon Lyons and P-Step the Toy. Not a great combination to run into. Gets driven back. The more Bulls right back in their own half. Now Dwayne Vermeulen goes himself. It's a good tackle though from Ricketts Pretorius. Gets the ball away from the Stormers, but it's won back by the Bulls. It's all getting very messy all of a sudden. Hendricks runs a good line. Now he's through. He needs some support. It comes from Dave Creel. Inside ball to Ruan Nokia. He stops. Bulls into 22. Dwayne Vermeulen now goes himself. Then goes to Krobola. He pops the ball up. Albert Lowe, good handling from him. He's got Dan Duplessis and P-Steps Troy, but they've got an advantage for offside, which is exactly what the Bulls wanted. If nothing else, they have a chance for 3 points here. Penalty advantage is for offside. Bulls are on the 22. And another penalty advantage for offside. So Stormers need to watch their discipline here. Morning State dabs it across. Second time to time for Madosh Tamwe. He does not drop it this time. He steps inside. He goes over. The Bulls hit back. Well, that could have been his hat-trick for Madosh Tamwe. He stuffed up the second one, but very well played there. Morning State, good chip over the top there. Clean cake from Madosh Tamwe. He steps inside. I think it's Damien Willemse or Leon Zatz. I mean, he didn't even attempt to tackle here. Yeah, Damien Willemse gets sat on the floor. Madosh Tamwe goes underneath the pole. Mornestein adds the 2 extras. And the Bulls will go in with a 14-10 advantage. And I think that comes down to that Steven Kitsov yellow card. Because I think had he been on the field, probably would have won the scrum, probably would have put it out. And they Bulls wouldn't have been in a position to hit back. But well played by the Bulls. Mornestein drops that over. And they'll go into half time. We will be back in a few minutes. Just want to get a few things. I need to go grab a beer. So there's your time to also go grab a beer and everything like that. Please don't go away though. Smash like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll be back for the second half very, very shortly. Right, and we are back. The second half will be starting relatively shortly. Currently, it is 14-10 in favor of the Bulls, who's Josh Tumway, the two try scorers. Should have actually had a hat trick. Was really the second one. As I said, I don't know how he butched that. But it really wasn't great from him. So yeah, just the comments. 4 points is nothing. No, definitely. I think the Stormers are definitely in it. But if they can just, it's all about getting Stephen Kitzel back on the field, because when he's on the field, that scrum is massive. So I think that until they can get, if they can just survive this time without Kitzel and getting back on the field, then they're going to have that scrum advantage again. If they can have that scrum advantage, then I think they'll be all right. But I think the Bulls, if they can just be a bit more accurate and a bit more sort of clinical, I think they've got more points in them as well. Theodorus Porkita saying, do you think the Rainbow Cup will be sufficient preparation for the Lions tour, as the Lions have just come out of the Six Nations? Not really, I don't think, but what can you do? We can't really, it's not like there's a lot of opportunities to play rugby. I know that they were going to look at trying to get some more games for the Springboks, but doesn't look like that's going to happen, so it's going to have to be, I'm afraid. Hopefully it's just a case of these players getting fit and making sure that by the time the Lions arrive, that we are in a condition good enough. Look, the good news is a lot of the Springboks are obviously playing overseas, which is actually a really good thing, because they're playing a high standard rugby week in, week out. Andre Pollard's back from injury. Arceus Neyman's not looking good. Lua Diago's looking a bit sketchy, but PCF the Toy has looked very good today once again. Looked impressive last week and looked very good again today. So, for example, he's someone that looks like he's up and running and in good condition. So that's a very big positive. But yeah, I mean, there's no real excuses, I suppose. I mean, we only have ourselves to blame. We could have gone and played the championship last year. We would have been a half-baked side, but we could have played. And yeah, so it's a bit of a difficult one, because I think that you need to get this Rainbow Cup standard a bit higher, but how you do that, I'm not quite sure. Right, well, I finally found myself a beer, which I can enjoy on a Saturday evening. Almost 7:30 here. Let me know where you're watching from in the world. We usually have people across various continents and stuff like that, so let me know where you're watching. Let me know what your final score predictions are. Let's check that in the comments. Yeah, so if we visit the earlier calls, I think we said we had someone saying, Sean O'Farrell said Bulls by 7. I think I said Bulls by about 10. TUX Gaming said Stormers by 6. So those are the predictions we had earlier. So let me know what your predictions are now. What you think the final score is going to be, who you are backing. And yeah, to everyone from around the world, cheers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, beer tastes good. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We need one more to get to 1310, which was the goal for the stream. So if you haven't subscribed and you're watching, please do. I'm also sitting on 7 likes, so please smash a like. Let's see if we can get up to 10 likes before the second half kicks off. Share the link as well. Let's try and get as many people as we can up on and watching. Well, there we go. First person from Bristol, UK. Cheers to Theodorus, who's in the UK. Let's listen to what the Stormers coach said what to say. Okay, so Darby Snowman saying they started off well, but struggling a bit with the lineouts, and need to just sort of sort that out, which I can completely agree with. Really, we're struggling with the lineouts, but yeah, they can sort that sort of part out. Get Stephen Kitzel back on the field, keep dominating scrum time. Stormers are definitely still in this game. A good kick off, but a very good take from Rick Pretorius there. So let's get the clock going. Right, so Damien Williamson now asked to get the Stormers out of their own half. He doesn't find touch. David Creel down the middle of the park will chip and chase. Chips over the top with a very good read from Gordon Masimla. Nice offload to Amner van Rieenen. Amner van Rieenen grew, I thought, in the first half. Started off pretty poorly, but got a lot better as the half went on. And Stormers keeping possession here. Damien Williamson now being asked to be first receiver. Dan du Plessis looking out wide. Measures up Cornel Hendricks, who makes a good tackle on him. And it's a knock on there from, I think it's Dan du Plessis in the end there. Trying to sort of go down, pick the ball up and keep going. I think knocks it out in the process. So it will be a scrum here. Bulls had a very big scrum at the end of the first half with no Stephen Kitsoff. So we have to see how this one goes. But this is a part that the Stormers need to just try and sort of weather the plan. So quite a few minutes played after the 40 minutes. So I think that Stephen Kitsoff only has about 2 or 3 minutes left in the bin. So Leon Lyons just needs to hold up 1 or 2 scrums. Stephen Kitsoff is busy getting ready, so I don't think he's off the field for too much longer. Not that I've had a chance to mention it, but please do check out the link in the description for Hectic. They are run by somebody who's involved in Forever Sports that helps with a lot of the website stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, if you haven't already, in the link in the description there, go check it out. It's a new IT online store, which is very cool. A lot of the equipment that we use to broadcast and make these videos was actually bought through Hectic, so make sure you go and check them out as well. Right, here we go. Scrum time. Oh, and it's a scrum penalty to the Bulls. I think it's come from the other side there, because there's nothing on this side. Knee on the ground there. I think it's Leon Lyons has been penalised. Yeah, Kitsoff can only look on as he needs to get back onto this field, because until then the Bulls are going to definitely have the scrum advantage. Let me just amend the clock. Right, so Morne Steyn finds touch in the 22. The Bulls can start with this try. That'll be a knock the wind off the sails of the Stormers. Leon Lyons, yeah, just scrummaging in is the call there. A big moment for the Bulls here. They can score a try here and try and sort of extend that advantage. Here we go. Stephen Kitsoff is back, as is Marcel Tinez, who obviously had to go off. He was sacrificed for Leon Lyons. So no yellow card anymore for the Stormers. Well, there we go. Up to 1,310 subscribers. So thank you very much who has subscribed. Still seeing on 9 likes. So one of you guys could make my day and get up to 10 likes. Please do smash like there. Let me know if anyone is having a beer with me, or if I'm just drinking by myself on a Saturday evening, which is a bit sad. But what can you do? It's lockdown. Vermeulen finds it. Malcolm Starden goes over a run by himself and loses it forward, actually. So we'll have a scrum here just after Stephen Kitsoff comes back. So that's actually a great result for the Stormers. Decided not to go with the more Malcolm Starden running off it. It was a marauding run, but it loses the ball in contact. So we'll restart with the scrum, and I think if it's like anything in the first half, probably a very big opportunity for the Stormers to win a penalty here. Lots of credit to the Stormers side because, as I said, 9 changes to the starting 15. So many injuries in the squad, and yet they have not looked like a second team at all. You think that on this side, you still add Sal Murat, J.D. Schickerling, Joanna Augustus, Hirscher Yankees, Cade Voliter, Ruan Null, Sibelisa Natla. There's a lot of players. I mean, Warwick Halant. There's a lot of players missing for the Stormers, and yet they are fronting up to the Bulls very well. Have a reset scrum here. Looked a lot better for the Stormers. A lot more solid. But after the reset, we go again. We go again. That looks like it's another reset going in there. Oh, this is what I really missed. During the preparation series, they had the scrum clock. So if there was a reset, the time would immediately go off until we can get the scrum right. And I really enjoyed that because I think, how much time do we lose every game between scrums? Scrum resets and all the likes. It's too much at the end of the day. That's what it is. It's too much. So something that World Rugby needs to look at as well, because you can't lose this amount of time in during the scrums. So it's quite interesting. We're chatting in the British and Irish Lions squad reaction. We're talking about scrums and the fact that in South Africa we've seen a lot of resets, and we're seeing you see again another reset. Now it's a penalty to the Stormers. He's had enough. Can only have so many resets, so this penalty's gone against the Bulls there. But they were saying that they reckon the biggest problem is that there's a very big difference in the quality of scrummages in South Africa, whereas in Europe they're far more balanced. They reckon that South African front rows are much better than European front rows, but within the domestic setup there's a very big difference. Ooh, Sergio Peterson going for the intercept there. So the Stormers not finding touch of the penalty. Bulls trying to counter-attack. Sergio Peterson trying to make an intercept from that, knocking the ball on. So we'll restart with another scrum. Further up the field, it will be a Bulls put in, but that doesn't really matter at the way the Stormers are currently scrummaging. Another big scrum from the Stormers, but the Bulls do have it, and they do use it. Morné Steyn goes to Cornel Hendricks. Hendricks goes out to David Creel, who slips the first tackle, then kicks ahead, and that'll bounce very favorably and just goes out. And in fact, I think Gonda Masimla actually has to take the ball out, so it actually will be a Bulls put-in. So that's a brilliant kick there from David Creel. He got on the outside of his player, was being held, but kicked ahead. And Gonda Masimla's little sort of fisticuffs with Madosh Tamwe was his last involvement. The Stormers bring on Edwil van der Merwe as well as Paul de Wet in place of Leon Lanzas and Gonda Masimla. I didn't think it was too bad, actually. Still missing Herschel Yankees, even though he's not playing maybe the best that he's played in his entire career. So, in a big conference call here for the Bulls before they make the lineup decision. So it's a Stormers lineout, which means the ball obviously just went out. I'm not quite sure why it's a Stormers lineout. But to be fair, the Stormers lineout's been so poor that it's not the worst result for the Bulls at all. Their Stormers on their 5 with a defensive lineout. Can Mongi Manami find his man? They've been struggling all game. Well, Chronopool went, Steenkamp went up, but they did win the lineout. And Abner van Rooyen, I don't think he's gotten that out. No, he hasn't. Madosh Tamwe gets the ball. He sees some space, he's going to run, but he runs with a lot of traffic, including PCF the toy. But the Bulls still got the ball here. Ruben Nokia, he's been quite quiet today. Takes the ball up. Most appear now puts the ball to the boot. Oh, that bounces very favorably. Madosh Tamwe. He loses the ball in contact. He runs into PCF the toy, and I think it's Abner van Rooyen. It almost bounced horribly for the Stormers. Bounced right back inside. And Madosh Tamwe was tearing after it. But he can't control it as he catches it. If he did, I think he was in there for his hat-trick. Just in terms of looking at the stats, PCF the toy has already made 13 tackles tonight, missing just 1. Lots of rumors that he's now on the move, and there we go. Liesel Boboka comes on for Steenkamp. They've been struggling at the scrums, have the Bulls, and I think Boboka sorted that scrum out a lot when he came on last weekend. So I don't think this is a very surprising change. I think it's probably a fitness issue. I'm not quite sure why Boboka isn't starting more, but he's a quality prop. Obviously, Springbok capped. Not that he's been involved there for a while. And I think that's also a fitness problem. I think, missed a bit of a trick here has Walker, because I think that there is obviously with the Beast retiring, there is a spot in that front row available. I think Oxen Chair is going to try and jump on that. Well, obviously on the bench. Steven Kitzel will come into a starting lineup. But there's a spot on the bench. And then I think for me, it's between Oxen Chair, Walker. Sean Farrell saying Stormers still have a chance as long as they keep their discipline. Yeah, look, the Stormers are not going away. I think the Bulls are probably ruining the opportunities they haven't taken. But as long as the Stormers stay in this game, 4 points is nothing. It's a try. And now the Stormers going wide and letting Damian Williams try to open up a bit more of a angle, and he's found touch right up towards the touchline. So it's actually a very good exit play from the Stormers, who are playing a lot better in the last couple of minutes. Suddenly seem to have gotten their structures correct. There's a nice exit play there. Seem to be hitting their lineouts. The scrum's been operating the entire game as long as Steven Kitzel's been on the field. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now that Walker's on. Watchalong, what's left of a scrum cap, is going to take the lineout here. Bruno Kier goes up and wins it. He goes straight to Imbrose Pierre. Now Mornestein kicks it across there. Madosh Tumwe is chasing hard. It's well fielded by Damian Williams, who sizes up Madosh Tumwe and then puts it onto his boot. Sees some space, and that's going to bounce back inside, unfortunately. It was almost a great kick from the 23-year-old. Mornestein tries to go with the banana and finds touch brilliantly. Damian Williams, I think, thinking that he was out in the outside of 22, let the ball bounce, and it's a fantastic result because the Bulls have now put Stormers under pressure. Stormers will restart with the line-out on their 10-meter line inside their own half. Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't really want to get into a kicking battle with Mornestein. He will win it. Good take there from the Stormers. The line-outs and they won a penalty. So that's a nice result from the Stormers there. This is what I'm saying. Bulls have had lots of visits to the 22, lots of opportunities to try and score the points, but just haven't really been able to. You go back to the 2 missed kicks from both Flower Hearts, which wasn't great. Abner van Renen now trying to find touch. And he does. It's actually a very nice touch finder. He gets the Stormers to inside the Bulls 22. So a big opportunity now for the Stormers to try and do something. No points yet in the second half. But we're still waiting to try for either side to open the bank. They go to the back piece to Toy. It's a good take from him. Stormers trying to start a more here. Not getting too much go forward at the moment. They've got an advantage. I think it's for Kaboka being on the side. So they've got a free roll of the dice here. Tibet goes himself. He finds some space. He's still going. He's still going. Doesn't use the man inside. They're 5 meters short. Bongi Manambi goes himself. They're now 2 meters short. Evan Rios goes himself, but it's good defense. Van Rijn goes himself now. Then Steven Kitsoff. Really good defense here from the Bulls. Pesty have to toy as well. I think they need to go wide here. You've got to go wide. They've had how many? They've had 4 now pick up and goes, and they haven't managed to get it. Still not. It's not working. They've got an advantage. Oh, Abner van Rijn has dropped it. They've dropped it. So we'll go back for the penalty, but Storm was really butchering that opportunity there. Bit of try-line fever, I think. A couple of pick up and goes. Maybe should have probably gone wide. I mean, they had an advantage, so why not? Why not let Abner van Rijn in the backline try and do something? So a bit of a strange decision-making, but they'll go back for the penalty for offside. And they kick into the corner, so they have another opportunity to try and form a more, this time a lot closer to the try line. Good take there from Van Rijn. Stormers going for it ball, but going towards the touchline, so they need to either use this. Bongi Manambi breaks off. Loose ball, but Abner van Rijn grabs it, steps in front, eventually brought down by Marco van Staden. Now the vet. Devin Rose carries it up. Now Mainhazen's asked to take it up as well. Stormers only using their forwards. Here we go. Abner van Renen. He chips ahead. That's a very heavy kick. That's a horrible kick from Abner van Renen. And also, I mean, unnecessary. You've got a couple players outside trying to go over there. John Dobson's got his hands in his head. That's an appalling kick from Abner van Renen. Great follow up from Mark van Janssen van Vuren. Ooh, Madosh Tama with the intercept. He's been everywhere today. Another very impressive performance from the Bulls winger. So the Bulls now with possession. So Mornay Steyn taking the dropout very quickly into space behind, and a fantastic follow up from Mark Janssen van Vuren, who made the tackle. Bulls have now made the turnover thanks to Madosh Tama, and now they're on the front foot in the Stormers' half on about the 10-meter line. Lisa Koboka takes it up for the first time, shrugs off one, gets up to the 10-meter. Mbrosa Pierre now. Ooh, that's a knock straight. That's dark down apparently. Offside there from Evan Ruiz, so it's penalty to the Bulls. They'll have a bit of a chance to try and slow things down, probably kick to the corner, and they'll restart. Time off. I'm not sure what for. I think we've got an injury. Yeah, Dwayne Vermeulen saying we're going to go for poles. First time they've done it in a while. Vermeulen just holding his shoulder there. I think it took a bit of a knock, probably a bit of a stinger. But he's decided the Bulls are going to go for the poles, take all the points they can. Which is the right decision because, you know, takes him to 7 points ahead. More than a try reach for the Stormers. And I think that also shows you how much the Bulls are struggling to convert their opportunities into points. They've had opportunities inside the Stormers half, but haven't been able to really sort of capitalize on it and convert them. So Vermeulen now saying, well, you know what, we've got an opportunity here, let's take the points, slot the 3, and we'll go back and we'll restart. But let's get 7 points ahead, and then we'll go from there. Because now the Stormers will need more than a converted try to take the lead back. He struck it well, but it looks like it's going towards the right. Eventually sneaks in, so it's a good kick from Mornay Steyn. And the Bulls go 17-10 ahead. Jake White pacing up and down. John Dobson not looking very happy either. It's very, very tense in the Cape Town Stadium. We've got a little over 20 minutes to go. And still very much in the balance. Scario Ntabeni's on for Bongi Manambi. A fantastic take there. I think it's Cornel Hendricks that's taking that actually in the air. The Bulls don't have the safety of the 22. Mbrosa Pierre puts it to the boot. I think he's been quite impressive today, Mbrosa Pierre, actually. Very good player. Oh, here we go. Damien Venice has found some space. He steps outside one, steps out, spins out of another. Now Sergio Peterson joins the line. He stabs it through. Staying under a lot of pressure. Runs to Rick's Pretorius. But the Bulls come back to support, and they do manage to secure that ball. Under a lot of pressure inside their 22 now, so Mbrosa Pierre will wait for Mornay Steyn to get out of the ruck. They went with another pod there because Mornay Steyn not quite in position yet, and a lot of pressure at the breakdown. Now Mbrosa Pierre can shape up. He finds Mornay Steyn. He kicks and looking for touch. But he won't find it. Abner van Renen keeps it inside. Willemsen now, he was very good. He's still on the start of this attack, looking for some space. Still making some ground. He seems to make some ground every time he carries it. Now Van Renen cuts inside. Stormers are inside the Bulls 22 now. Good take from Kitsoff. He passes up to Evan Ruiz. Rick's Pretorius now. He straightens the line, tries to get the pass outside. David Mayhew dives on it, but it looks like they might have knocked it on. Yeah, penalty to the Sharks. I think hands on in the rack there. David Mayer's direct on it, but then on the floor they try to push it back, which you can't do. So it's a penalty to the Bulls, and the Stormers' pressure not quite working out. And that's a bizarre penalty from Mornay Steyn, who's just kicked it down into the 22. And Dave Vincent has gotten back, fetched it, found some time, and it's a very good clearance there, but Morningstate will take it quickly. And David Creel now lifts it up. He's chasing. Edward van der Merwe goes up. Oh, is that not taken in the air? No, David Creel does to have time to tackle well, but the Stormers have possession. And Mayhazen takes it up. Paul de Wet asking for another pod. Chesko into Benny Poddy, the lucky ball carrier. Goes to Ernst van Rijn. Paul de Wet now. Abner van Rijn in the pocket. Abner van Rijn trying to turn Morningstate. So David Creel took. Now Morningstate goes up. Quite a few kicks and stuff like that. Willemse goes up, but it's David Creel that wins it. Although I think the Stormers have jumped in there, and they've actually won the penalty. That's very well played. I think it's P. Steph, the Toy, and Damien Willemse who swarmed David Creel and got through, and I think that holding on was the call. And the Stormers can once again take a bit of time, get themselves into the Bulls' half, and try and go again, because they need to score some points. Okay, so Francois Herber's now off. So Nettling for Shears on. So it's a new front row. Well, sorry, Stephen Kitsoff's still there. Obviously, he's at 10 minutes there, so he's still got plenty of energy. But Janko Swanepoel's on for Steenkamp. I thought Swanepoel was very good last weekend. I thought it was actually quite harsh that he was dropped. I don't know if it was rotation or what the story was, but I thought he was very good last weekend, and he's on again. Very good more here from Stormers. They're well inside the Bulls 22, but losing a bit of ground, so Paul de Wet has to use it. Pretorius gives it to Ruiz, who makes a few meters. Sco into Benny running a good line there. Now Needling for Sheer takes it up. Stormers actually making some good ground here. Peace left the Toy. He's been absolutely monstrous tonight. Kitsoff gives it to Interbeni. Van der Rennen now thinks he finds a half gap and runs into two forwards and gets driven back. Kitsoff decides to run into a bit of traffic, try and suck a few Bulls players in. Now they go wide. Willemse. Sergio Peterson, it's 1-on-1. He runs into David Creel. He manages to stay inside. No, he doesn't. So Prepare on the touch just there, saying that Sergio Peterson's arm drifted out while he had control of the ball, so it will be a Bulls line out. So another chance the Stormers miss. Very good defense here by Creel. Rides the hit and eventually drives Sergio Peterson towards the touchline. Sergio Peterson's arm goes out and goes into touch. So we've got time off for injuries. We've got 20 minutes left in the game here down in Cape Town. Still 17-10 to the Bulls' advantage, but Stormers very much in the game. Just need to try and convert their opportunities into points, really. Okay, so defensive line check from the Bulls. They found Ruan Nokia. It's another good one. Pierre goes to Morningstate. He's under a little bit of pressure. But he does find touch. Almost thinking about taking it quickly, but opted against it. So they'll have a line out about 5 meters beyond the 10 meter. So it's a decent clearance there for Morningstate. Right, and now we've got Nizam Kar on. Trying to decide who it's on for. Dwayne Vermeulen is coming back from injury, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's him. But given the balance of the game, yeah, Vermeulen does go off. Zach Berger's also on for Ambrose Pierre, and Chris Smith's on for Mornay Steyn. A good return from Dwayne Vermeulen. Not at his best, I think, but very, very solid. I don't think he missed any tackles. Carried the ball up when he needs to. Was reliable under the high ball, as he always is. And a penalty here for the Stormers. So Stormers once again can kick to the corner and try again. I mean, how many times do they need to try and get over the line? Well, it's a big call, but Stormers have decided to go for the poles. That decision's come from the coaching box. The assistant or water boy, whoever's carrying the kicking tee, ran straight on and said, "No, we're going for poles." And I think that's just Stormers. I mean, Stormers trying to close the gap. Quite a few visits to 22 and no points. So, you know, if they can continue with this, they can try and kick their way back into the lead. But first things first, let's get within a single tries difference, so points gap wise. So Adam van Renen, he missed a very easy one in the first half. So this could be the Stormers' first points in the second half. A good strike. It looks like it's gone through the middle. Yep, they're happy with that. So Adam van Renen adds the extra 3. And the Stormers go within 4 points of the Bulls. And if we're holding a shoulder there, doesn't look particularly happy, which is not great news. Not a lot of flower half options as it is. Billy Engelbrecht is on for the Stormers. Got a red card last weekend. It was rescinded, however, which is why he's available this weekend. But Siebes Nuttler not as lucky. He had his red card upholded, has been banned for 4 weeks. Engelbrecht obviously on loan from the Pumas, a replacement for João Augustus, who's out for the foreseeable future. Damien Vincent now launches it down the middle of the park. Chris Smith calling for the up and under. Just come on from Mornay Stain. A good take from Damien Vincent. A lot of Bulls players around him, but a support arrives. Evan Ruiz has been very industrious today. Still on the park. But there's a penalty. I think it's for sealing off. It's from Sergio Peterson. The Bulls have a penalty, and I reckon we're going to see 3 points kicked right back and try and get that 7-point advantage. Yep. The kicking tee is on, and Chris Smith will line up his first kicker of the day, try and re-establish that 7-point advantage over the Stormers. Definitely not been the dominant performance I think we could have expected from the Bulls. And I think despite the Bulls being almost at full strength, obviously missing a few players, front row lacking, I think that's quite clear. No Marcel Coetzee yet, no Johan Goosen just yet, no Stefan Gans, no Kurtley Arendse. But definitely more at full strength than the Stormers are. But the Stormers have played really well tonight. I thought they've been very, very disciplined. They've defended very well. It's been led by the effort of Peace Def Tour, who's been brilliant. And Chris Smith will split those poles as well. So the Bulls go back up to having a 7-point advantage. It is 20 points to 13. 15 minutes to go. And this comes down to Bulls game management. Jake White looks very nervous up in that coaching box. I think the other SS sides outside of the Big Four should be put in a competitive tournament so it's not disadvantage them not just doing Curry Cup. So apparently the Cheetahs are closing in on an agreement with a tournament in Europe. What tournament that is, we'll wait and see. But yeah, there will probably be a sort of Vodacom Cup or something for your Pumas, your Griquas, your EP and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the entire SA Rugby probably needs a little bit of a relook in terms of what we're going to have domestically, how we're going to try and get these sides playing. Because at the end of the day, with so many players available, and you look at the quality of the Varsity Cup currently played, we need more domestic rugby for our smaller sides. So it's not just the Big Four that are producing our Springboks. We need, 6-7 teams that can produce a Springbok. So Stormers now about to take a kick there inside their own half. Damien Willems starts to go to his boot. He's been very involved with Damien Willems. A couple of good runs, a couple of decent kicks. A very good chase there by Edwin van der Merwe, who puts the Bulls under pressure. They've got possession. Oh, that's about to say that. You can't have a second go at that. Chris Smith penalised there. He was down there, let go of the ball, was on the floor though, and had another go. And that all comes down from the really good chase from the Stormers. So a very kickable penalty, and Abner van Rijn has asked for the kicking tee. So once again, they'll try and reduce that deficit to 4 points. I think we're heading for quite a tight finish here. Let's hope so. It's been a really good game, very competitive, and I think if the Stormers can keep possession, string together a couple of phases, there's no reason why they can't snatch victory here. I think if I had to label this performance for Stormers, I'd say heroic. Because really, with so many injuries and stuff like that, such a changed side, they haven't looked like they've really missed the other players. I mean, in some aspects they have, but they've been really impressive given the situation they find themselves in. And that's a very good kick from Abner van Rijn. And so the deficit is once again 4 points. As we head into the last 13 minutes of the game. I think we're in for a bit of a nail biter. And no real thrashings yet in the Rainbow Cup. It's all been quite balanced. I think, even the Bulls against the Lions, whilst the Bulls had 3 disallowed tries, they let it quite late before they sort of finish the game out, which is quite good to see. You want to see nice competitive games. You want to see games which can go either way. Like this, a try from either side wins the match, in the last 10 minutes. So van Rijn called the mark and has now turned Zach Berger. Albertlo's back with him. He'll take, but he's got nobody around him, and the Stormers are piling in there, but it's good effort there. But I think it's by Grobelaar who's gotten back and secured the ball. Ball's a little bit out of ideas, so Chris Smith goes himself. Right, so the Bulls using their forwards now. They've been pinned back to just outside the 22 meters. Stormers are playing a very good territorial game, keeping the Bulls inside their half, but they need to try and convert that into points. Chris Smith now pumps the ball down the middle of the park. The big kick, and Dave Vince is back there. Fumbles it a little bit backwards. He spots the space down the left. Chris Smith will return the favour. He sees some space, but the bounce favours Abner van Rijn, who's now got the set to 22, which he leaves. So he goes up. Sergio Peterson is chasing. Madosh Tumwa is underneath it. He takes it. Gets around Sergio Peterson. Eventually runs into traffic. Walker makes a good carry. And now Zach Berger shaping for the box kick. Lots and lots of kicking today. I think, if we're looking at the kicking stats here, I'm just trying to find the stats here, but it's a very good take there from Willems, from Zach Berger's up and under. The Stormers now got possession. They're on about the halfway line. Abner van Rijn, they got an advantage, so he tries to dab over the top. So Peterson, who catches it. David Creel brings him down, so they found some meters here. Stormers have gotten a penalty advantage, so they can do what they want. Kitsov not carries past the 10. They go down the blind side. They've got a bit of space, Sergio Peterson, but he gets taken out by David Creel. Not really going to win that game. David Creel far too big, but they'll go back for the penalty. And I think this is kickable for Abner van Rijn, so they can reduce the points deficit to just 1, which I think was the plan. I think they knew that they were on top, that they were winning the small battles, winning some penalties. So I think the plan here from the Stormers is kick a penalty, get within 1, and try and find out, see if they can get ahead through that. They haven't struggled to score tries, just the 1 so far, compared to the 2 from the Bulls. Should have had a third. It's just behind the halfway line, though, so I think we're going to see Abner van Rijn go for touch. And Abner van Rijn has not found touch. That is criminal. That is absolutely criminal. Trying to find those extra meters, hasn't found touch. That's a great touch finder from the Bulls. The Stormers are taking it quickly, but they're now well in their own half. Van Rijn now spots some space, but he does get tackled by Shavino Jacobs. He's still going, though. He's got himself back up to the halfway line. David Mayhazen, it's a decent carry. It's been a bit of a slugfest, this really. It's been a massive battle of the forwards. Neither side really giving much. You look at the tackle statistics, there's been some big efforts on both sides. Damien Williams have stabbed the ball behind and asked Chris Smith to kick into touch, which he does. The Stormers will restart with a line out just beyond the 10 meter. So Stormers get all the territory at the moment. A lot of pressure. Just need to try and convert that into points if they want to get anything out of this game. There comes Jacques van Rooyen for the Bulls. Okay, we've got captain's challenge here from Kitsoff. Shoulder to head, they reckon. Okay, so it's captain against captain. This happened last time as well. The captain's call from Vermeulen was on Stephen Kitsoff, and now Stephen Kitsoff as captain is challenging his opposite captain, which is now Nizam Kar, who's just come onto the field. They reckon it's a shoulder to head, which would mean the Bulls will go down to 14 men for the rest of the game, because a shoulder to head is pretty much always a yellow card. So it's a big moment in the game. First of all, it'll be a penalty for a start. It'll be down to 14 men for the Bulls for the rest of the game. So it's against David Mayhazen. Oh, yeah. That's Nizam Kar gone. Yeah, Nizam Kar was trying to justify it before, saying he's falling. How must I tackle him? But I mean, it's David Mayhazen. It's not exactly like he's very big, and it's a straight shoulder towards the head. That's going to be a yellow card. It's at least a yellow card. We could even be seeing red here, to be honest. The shoulder to the head. It's at least a yellow card. In fact, I'm making the call. I'm putting a yellow card up for the Bulls, which I've now lost. There it is. Yep, yellow card for Nizam Kar. Took their way down from a red card, but it will be a yellow, and the Bulls will be down to 14 men for the remainder of the game. This is a big moment. This is where the Stormers need to capitalize. It's something that the teams have to practice, unfortunately. It's the new reality. You've got to tackle low. As soon as there's contact, head on, shoulder on head, it's a yellow card at the very least. So Stormers now going for touch. Adam van Rooyen does find touch this time. And they've got 9 minutes against a 40-man Bull side to try and snatch a victory. And that would be huge if they did. First things first, they've got to win the line-out, which they do. Ernst van Rooyen goes up and comes down with it. They're making progress. They're making progress. Still making some progress. There's no call yet. It looks like Jacques van Rooyen's got it's available there. Paul de Vet played early though, so they've got another advantage. So Stormers the free roll of the dice. Sergio Peterson, Damien Willemse, the space out wide. Does Evil van der Merwe have the pace? He cuts inside. Fantastic tackle there by David Creel. It's a brilliant covering tackle. Stormers on the 5. Now this is where they need patience. They can't just Tryline Fever can't hit him. That's hit them before. Kitsoff goes marauding through, but he gets held up. And that's ripped from Krobler. So they'll go back to the penalty. So Stormers once again struggling to find those points. They've got 7 minutes to try and find a try here. Let me update that score clock. So it's frustrating from Zach Berger there because, I mean, the Bulls stopped the ball legally, and then as Paul DeVette went to go play the ball, Zach Berger went offside and played him. So that was where the penalty came from. Penalties conceded, 17 conceded by the Bulls to 8 against the Stormers. So really, discipline costing the Bulls a lot. Discipline also costing the Sharks. I think that's something that all the teams are going to have to look at. And a lot of it is high tackles, it's offside lines, it's lazy defense, lazy running. And you've got to try and fix that discipline. If you want to play international rugby, you want to get those call-ups to the Springboks. And the Bulls have stolen that. Oh dear. They've stolen that, but it doesn't go to anybody. And Shavino Jacobs has to dot the ball down. So it's going to be a 5-meter scrum for the Stormers, which is a get out of jail free because it wasn't a good line out. So now a scrum for the Stormers. 6 minutes to go. They do have the put in because it was carried back by the Bulls. As I said, please do check out Hectic in the comments below in the description if you want to check out any stuff from the IT stuff. They really help with a lot of the stuff that we do, provide a lot of equipment that we use to be able to do this sort of production. So if you want stuff like that, then go and check them out as well. Link is in the description. 5 minutes left. That's a massive scrum from the Stormers. Okay, massive penalty there. I reckon the Stormers go again. This could be a penalty. This could be penalty try sort of territory. Huge scrum, lots of go forward ball. They're going to call for another one, I'm sure. They've gone with the scrum. Stephen Kittle still on the park. So obviously a man down at the scrum with Nizam Khan in the bin. So if the Stormers play well, the Springboks will do well because world-class front row. Oh, we've seen it today. We've seen how that Springbok front row has really carried the Stormers side. Lineouts haven't been great, but the scrums have been brilliant. I think if you look at those 17 penalties from the Bulls, I reckon 6 or 7 of them probably come at scrum time. So better scrum now from the Bulls, so the Stormers are going to have to try and use this. When Reno goes, Sergio Peterson's running a good line, but it's well read. No, that's a penalty. Oh, it should be an advantage. I think Wadosh Tumwe slowed that down a lot. But they've avoided the penalty advantage, so the Stormers have got no advantage and they have to try and create something here. When Rain goes up, they're on the 5. Offload there from PCF to Toy. Billy Engelbrecht now carries. Williamson's left that behind. It's gone backwards though, but the Bulls are all over that and the Stormers have lost it. And that's it. That is the problem. They cannot... Oh, I'll take it all back. They've one possession back. The Stormers are still alive here. Having said that, I think the Bulls will just counteract from the Bulls. The Stormers have lost it and the Bulls can clear their line with 4 minutes left. That could be the game gone for the Stormers. Obviously still 3 minutes to play. Shavino Jacobs, that left foot, is asked to go and find touch, which he does. But that's the thing. Stormers just not clinical. They've had so much time. I mean, I think territory-wise, it's been a lot more for the Stormers than it has been for the Bulls. But they cannot make any good use of it. Yeah, so looking at the territory, in the second half, it's been 81% territory for the Stormers. I mean, that's a massive telling stat. They've played all the rugby in the Bulls' half, but they have scored just the 6 points. Ivan Ruiz carries it up like he has all game. 2.5 minutes from the Stormers. Can they find the composure and find a way to unlock this Bulls defense? Which has been characteristically pretty good. The Toy goes through, but he throws a half pass. Shavino Jacobs jumps on that. That was almost the try the Stormers needed. Now Chris Smith will clear. ball will stay in, so Turtle Pearson will be able to run. I think just can't really kick. They don't have much time. Carries it into contact. He's got support though. The ball's right back on the halfway line though. Rick Pretorius now. The space out wide. Oh, that's forward. That's forward. That's forward. That's Evan Ruiz. I think that's the game. Just not quite on the same wavelength there, but this is what I'm saying, that the tackle success rate from the Bulls have been immense. 86% tackle success rate. That is much better. When you compare that to the 79% of the Stormers, that tells a huge story. Okay, so we've got time off. We've got another captain's referral from Steven Kitsoff. He's had 2 successful ones. That's why he's still allowed to make captain's referral. Because if it's a successful referral, you get to keep it. So now we're asking for a leading arm, which is why Steven Kitsoff was actually sent to the bin earlier in the game. Kitsoff reckons there's a similar issue happening here. This is the Stormers' last roll of the dice, because if they win this challenge, first of all, it could be a yellow card. More importantly, it's a penalty in the red zone. So it gets the Stormers right up to the 5 meter and gives them an opportunity to once again go. But they've had the opportunities. 81% territory in the second half. So it's against Javino Jacobs. Nah. Nice try. I don't think that can be counted as a shoulder. He runs in like this, basically. I mean, he literally leads with the hand. He hands Willemse off in the face. There's a flat hand there, so I don't think this is going to be a penalty. I think that's I think it's a bit of a 50-50 one for Steven Kitsoff, and I don't think they're going to win this one. I think they're going to go back for the scrum. At the end of the day, the Stormers just not good enough on attack, you know. I mean, defensive-wise, they were all right. And a massive, massive performance from Peace Tetoya, I think, is going to be closing in on 20 tackles. But I think Markham Staden's over the 20 tackle count, so there's been a lot of tackles during the game. I think both sides have made over 100 tackles. So it has been a game of defense, but I think the Stormers attack, they just try-line fever, not enough creativity, not enough go-forward ball. For whatever reason it is, they really just couldn't find, you know, that final sort of pass or that final line to run. I'm predicting the Sharks are going to beat the Bulls next week. I think the Sharks have to improve. They do. Both sides very guilty of very poor discipline, despite both winning. It's always going to be a good clash, the Sharks and the Bulls. It's always a very good clash. I don't think the Stormers have beaten the Lions this season, actually. I think about it. So that should also be quite an interesting game. But this is a Stormers game to take. I think as John Dobson, you are kicking yourself. I mean, it's a massive performance from them. When you think it's a second string Stormers side, it's a massive performance. But just didn't have someone to unlock the defense. You know, 81% territory. I think they got the bulk of possession as well, and they just couldn't score the points. Second half, 74% possession, 81% territory, and they couldn't score points. And if you can't score points, you don't win rugby games. That's the harsh reality. So it's an impressive performance from the Stormers, especially given 9 changes to the lineup, as well as their Marvin Ori going on. So within the first 30 minutes, it was 10 out of 15 players were new and weren't starting last week. So in that instance, it's a huge effort by the Stormers, and I think they can be very proud of the effort. But at the same time, should have won the game. I think I can say the same thing about the Lions. You know, they had their opportunities, and if you take your opportunities and you're more clinical, that's how you win games. Bulls could have put this game to bed, you know, with that second try by Madosh Tombo. They could have been 21-3 up, but he couldn't convert, and that's what allowed the Stormers back into the game. But I mean, it's a Bulls put in, the time is up, but it's a Stormers penalty, so we've got some more late drama. Surely they can't do it now. They've had so many opportunities to do it. They've won a scrum penalty, another scrum penalty. First things first, they found touches on the 22. We're over 80 minutes, so this was the last involvement. If the ball goes out, that's it. That's the game. But the Stormers will have one more opportunity to try and attack. Before they do, please do smash a like on the video. 48 people currently watching. Thank you very much for hanging out here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smash a like as well. We'll have a review of the game up fairly quickly, so stay tuned for that as well. We've got Team of the Week. We've got 5 things learned. All of that coming up in the next few days. So make sure you not only subscribe, but also click on the notifications button there so that you get updates. And the Stormers have lost the line out. Oboka goes to Trevino Jacobs, who kicks it out, and the Bulls are winners. 16 points to 20. The Bulls, and that's what they do. That is what the Bulls do. They win rugby matches. They might not play brilliantly. They might not have the most expansive, exciting game, but they win rugby matches because they know what to do, because that defense can outlast their opponents, because they play to a structure. They've got big game players who step up when they need to. And the Stormers line-out, which was an issue for them the entire game, letting them down right at the end. It's a valiant effort, heroic almost from the Stormers. But I think John Dobson will be kicking himself because I think he knows that they should have won this game. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you guys very soon. Please